Welcome to Office Hours Live, everyone, the weekly show where we teach people how to plan, launch, and grow a business that provides you with freedom, independence, and purpose. Whether you're starting from zero or scaling to six figures and beyond, whether you sell products or services online or offline, this show is all about growing a profitable business based on what we call service at scale. We combine the traditional service-based model with the tools and technology at our fingertips today. I'm going to answer your most pressing questions about clients, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, and anything else that's stopping you from taking your business to that next level. I want to extend a special welcome to my students at freelancingfreedom.com who are tuning in today. And with that said, I'm your host, Brad Hussey, a marketing expert, business consultant, and educator with more than 400,000 international students. I help aspiring entrepreneurs like you take back their freedom and independence by teaching them and giving them the tools for launching a profitable consulting business at freelancingfreedom.com. If you want your questions answered, just add them to the comments section and we'll get to them throughout the show. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, hit the little notification bell to stay in the loop for new content and when we go live with our office hours. We've got some great material lined up for you today, so make sure you take some notes, you bring your questions, grab yourself a water, coffee, or a whiskey, and we're going to get started here in just a moment. Hey, how's it going, everybody? What's up? Welcome to Office Hours Live. It's Thursday, and we're about to have a great little party today. Maybe not a party, but we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about something cool, and I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Welcome for our weekly Office Hours. Good to see some familiar faces. Who do we got here? We got Alea, good to see you. Wayne. We got Monique, greetings. Getting some cool weather here. Hey, same here. We've been getting some really hot weather lately, and so it's nice when you get a little bit of a breeze coming when you're not cooking. I imagine everybody's kind of getting, at least in North America, getting one of those crazy heat waves. Ante Thomas, how's it going? Hafsa, Larry from Wisconsin. We got Patrick, or maybe Patrick's parent, because he said I'm logged into my son's account. Bailey, we got Ushi. Hopefully I got your name right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Office Hours Live. Today we're talking about building a marketing machine. What's a marketing machine? Anyone have any ideas what a marketing machine is? Ushi says, I bet it's not as hot as Kuwait. No, it's not. And I bet you as well. I reverse bet you that it's definitely not as hot as Kuwait. What's the deal here? Let's see. We're going to be chatting about marketing machine, and I'll let you know what that is in a moment. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to just shoot that out there and see what you think it is. I'm fresh off of a Backstreet Boys concert last night. Any BSB fans in here? Because, 8-year-old Brad was very pumped that last night. Got to see Backstreet Boys. We drove to the city and sold out concert, 15,000, 16,000 people. We were rocking it. It was awesome. They played a bunch of their old and, stuff that everybody knows, to their new DNA album. They had little bits and pieces. The show was a big spectacle. It was lots of fun. It was really quite cool. I really liked it. So I'm tired. I didn't get home till a little bit later, and so anyway, didn't want to miss it on Office Hours Live. So, Bailey says, I got my first Backstreet Boys demo CD in a McDonald's Happy Meal. Yep. LA said, I was a teenager when BSB was out. The demographic there was funny. I've never seen so many millennial girls in one place. It was like 85% women and then, 15% men. But it was like, this is entirely my demographic. You're looking around and you're like, there's nobody here like younger than 30, and there's nobody here older than like 38. It was like everyone was the same. It was very interesting. Monique, drink your coffee then. Good idea. Thank you for that. Today we're going to be talking about the marketing machine. Forgive me if I'm a little bit scatterbrained here and there because, like I said, I'm a little bit on the tired side. And so generally a pretty exciting and heavy topic, the marketing machine. So who here has heard of funnels, marketing funnels, sales funnels, automated funnels? I'm assuming that you have heard of that before. You know what that is. Well, a marketing machine is more, I like to call it a marketing machine, because a funnel, if you imagine a funnel, you're holding a funnel and then you just dump like a liquid in the top, and then it just spouts out the bottom and sprays all over the floor. The other part is that it's assuming that everything that goes in the funnel comes out the bottom, which couldn't be more incorrect. It's like you have a strainer. It's like it's more like you're holding like a colander, and you're pouring liquid in the top and it's going everywhere, and some of it lands in a cup in the bottom. But I've called it a marketing machine. I like to use the term marketing machine, and that's the phrase that we're using. That's the terminology we're using in the launch course in Freelancing Freedom, because it makes so much more sense. Because what it is, it's a cycle. There is a journey from somebody not knowing who you are to wanting more from you to buying from you. And then with a funnel, you assume, okay, when the funnel's done, it's done. But it cycles back through. And there's like this living component to it, where you have somebody who gets dropped into the top of your marketing machine, who enters your marketing machine, and they get carried through your process. And if they become a customer, it doesn't end there. How do you maintain your relationship and add value? How do you make sure that you have a customer for life? How do you make sure that you are continually serving your customers and then encouraging them to buy more products or services? No business would sustain itself if they had a customer once and that's it. But for some reason, consultants and freelancers seem to think that when you get your client, you're done. You've got your client. Now you're going to need to look for a new client. And sure, you should be looking for new clients and getting new clients constantly. But once you get a client, it's not done. It's like you've terminated the relationship in your mind. But really what it is that's the beginning. How do you continue to add value and continue to nurture that relationship and continue to have a customer for the life of your business? For as long as they need your help, you can continue to help them. And it's okay to charge for that, because if you're solving a problem that's worth anything, then people will pay for it. So the marketing machine is a living, breathing thing that treats every individual as an individual and takes them through a journey based on where they are, what they're doing, their activity, if they've bought from you, if they didn't, their level of interest. And it's this moving machine. It's not a funnel. It doesn't really make sense to me. Although we do use the metaphor of funnels, as in we funnel people through the journey, I think the marketing machine is kind of like what houses a series of funnels, because you do funnel people through different journeys within the machine. But just to say you need a funnel is missing the bigger picture. So some comments here. Larry says, yes, ConvertKit helps with funnels. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about ConvertKit today. Hi, everyone. What about emails, marketing software? Yes, stuff that we will be talking about as well today within the context of this conversation we're going to be having. Harold says, hello, everyone. I'm on my new phone, updating my iPad so I can watch on the bigger screen. I'm on vacation from LA, California, USA. What's up, Harold? Good to see you. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I don't have like anything too rigid prepared today, because this is a gigantic topic. So I'm filming right now. I finished writing and creating the content for module 6 in the launch course. That's the second last module in the course. And it is proving to be a very big, technical, and exciting module where we get into all of this stuff. And so there's no way possible I'd be able to do justice the marketing machine in a 45-minute session. So what I'm going to do is going to give you some behind the scenes as to what I'm creating, and I'll walk through some pieces of the marketing machine, let you know what it is, show you how it works and why it's important that you need a marketing machine. And then, of course, how do you implement that and build it yourself? That's something that we will be able to help you in depth within the launch course. Of course, you don't need the launch course to create your own marketing machine and sales cycles and things like that, but there's a slow route and a more fast route if you want to put yourself in a fast lane and do it the right way versus picking and choosing, trial and error along the way. There's a lot of mistakes you could make. And so we like to try and eliminate those mistakes for you. And so I'm going to show you here my screen. If I can make that happen here just a second. All right. There's a lot of windows happening here. Let me just make sure that you see just this. Okay. And I'm going to switch my camera. There we go. That's much nicer. So I'm just going to kind of give you a little glimpse here. This, in a nutshell, is the journey of what the marketing machine does. So there are 5 major components of a marketing machine, and they look like this: a traffic source to a landing page, an email sequence that educates, nurtures, and pitches, onboarding and service delivery if they became a customer from your sequence, and after onboarding, ongoing education, nurturing, client relationship management, and then from there cycled back to client onboarding because they became a new customer. They became a repeat customer. Now, if they did not become a customer, they get jumped into the automated newsletter, ongoing content, and you continue to add value until they become a customer. So each of these pieces are module or lessons within the launch course. And each of those lessons, we go really in depth with how to build the landing page, what your landing page should include, how to set it up, how to put it live, your email sequence, how to set it up, how to create it, how to implement it, how to write it, what to write, how to schedule it, how to delay, when you should put your emails and who should receive which emails, how to personalize those emails. Of course, you can manually send emails and nurture somebody manually by by phoning them or messaging them. But while you might be able to do that with one client, one lead, you're not going to be able to build a business off one lead. You're going to need 10, 20, 30, 100, 500. You're going to need a bigger scale, and there's no possible way you'd be able to do that manually. And you shouldn't even bother trying to do that, which is where software comes in. You need to have a team of some sort. So if you're trying to scale, you're going to need other humans to help you educate, nurture, pitch, sell, onboard. But because we have software, that is our team. We create a robot of ourselves. We create a version of ourselves. So we schedule the emails, we design it, we write it, we do everything. So it's our mind that we've created, and then we duplicate it at scale and deliver it to people at scale based on when they entered the marketing machine. And so you have this army of yourself that duplicates, triplicates, quadruplicates, that just continues to grow no matter how many people are in your marketing machine, whether it's one person or 100,000 people. It still behaves the same with no extra effort on your part other than you creating the best marketing machine you possibly could, looking at the numbers, tweaking and iterating as you go. And so we go through all this in the course. We go through how to onboard effectively, how to automate each of these pieces, ongoing education, how to create an effective ongoing newsletter or perpetual content, evergreen content. We go through what your email sequence should be, how to write it, the different types. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of a background here. I'm going to show you a couple slides of the marketing machine and what you might begin to think about and why this is important. So why is having a marketing machine critical for business success? Because it follows the prospect along their journey to buying your thing. So here's a little graph that I put together for you. And here are the 5 common stages of the customer journey. Now, the customer journey starts through stage 1 through 5. Stage 1 is the awareness stage. That's where somebody becomes aware of your product, your service, your business. Stage 2 is the interest stage, where they become interested in your message, your product, your service. Stage 3 is the consideration stage, where they consider you as the product or service or person to solve their problem. And stage 4 is the decision stage, where they decide whether to buy from you or a competitor or not to buy at all. And then stage 5, a lot of people forget this stage. They think it ends at the decision stage. I made a sale, I win, thank you very much, moving on. Stage 5 is the retention stage. This is where you create a customer for life, a fan for life. Going back to Backstreet Boys, this is why the Backstreet Boys, despite being 35 to 50-year-old men, a boy band, 26 years later, can fill a 15 to 17,000 person arena, sell out the concert in a year-long world tour. Because they have fans for life, because they've retained that customer. They've retained that fan. If they were all about just the decision stage and just getting a sale, if their business, their brand, if their team was all about just getting to the decision to making a sale, to making a quick buck, well, they'd be in the same place as, let's say, NSYNC, right? But they're not, because they've retained a fan for life. So this is where, in this journey, from awareness to interest to consideration, decision, and then retention. That's the customer journey. Why is the marketing machine critical? Because it mirrors each of these stages. Each of these stages matches where they are and brings them through, brings the people who are right for you through this stage, and it matches them at each stage of their journey. So check this out. Stage 1, awareness. In the marketing machine, that's where your traffic brings them to ungated content. Ungated meaning it's a blog post, it's a video, it's office hours live, for example. You didn't need to enter an email address to come watch office hours live. It's publicly available, it's live, it's free, it's open to the public. It's free value, where I'm going to try and add more value to your life than the time that you're investing to be here. So I hope that with this 1 hour you spend with me, I could return 10 to 20 times the value to your life that you decided to spend with me here. So that is the awareness stage. Some of you are just becoming aware of me right now. Some of you are in the interest or consideration stage. But this is the awareness stage, your traffic to your landing page, your blog post, your video, your content, your podcast, your social media content. This is the awareness stage, and the marketing machine knows that. So it matches that. You're now in the awareness stage. The interest stage is where you offer something of value in exchange for permission to communicate. What does that mean? I want your email address. Why? So that I could put it into the marketing machine and maintain communication with you, ideally for a very long time, so that we can have a mutually beneficial relationship where you are giving me permission to communicate and ultimately market, but I solve your problem that you initially came in the awareness stage for. If you have no interest in me and you're not interested in building a business or taking your skills and profiting on them and getting clients and growing your own home-based or consulting business, then you're going to drop out right here. You're going to pop right out of it, and that's fine, because I'm not for you, you're not for me. Perfect. But if you're ready to build a business, you're aware of me, that I can possibly help you do that. Now you're in the interest stage, where you take a lead magnet, which means I'm going to give you something that will help you get further along in your journey. What's that? So here's the awareness stage. Here we are on Office Hours Live. What I'm offering to you today in exchange for an email address is the free gifts. In the description of this video, is a link, bradhussey.ca/launch. And that will take you to a page where you give me your email address and I give you a free demo of the launch course. You get the revenue roadmap and the consultant pricing calculator. 3 highly valuable tools that for you, it's a surplus because you're like, well, yeah, I'll give you permission to communicate with me in my inbox, but what I get in return, so this is you saying this, what I get in return is a free demo of the course so I can, without having to like be pressured into anything, look to see what it's all about so I can consider it for myself. And I get to use the revenue roadmap to start mapping out my business and start figuring out what I should be charging in my business and how I should structure that, whether it's hourly, weekly, value-based, or fee-based. So I give you all that for free, only asking for an email. So now that's your interest stage. Now from there is your consideration stage, where you offer value with the purpose of solving their problem in a greater way, so that you can ultimately offer them something. So what are you offering? Well, that depends on your product, your service, or your next step, your call to action. So in this case, free email course. When you go to bradhussey.ca/launch, what's going to happen is you're going to get those free gifts. I'm going to let you know about the launch course because I already know you're in that consideration stage. But after that, whether you join or not, well, if you don't join, or if you join just from my landing page at bradhussey.ca, there's a 5-day email course that teaches you how to start your own business, how to structure it, how to price, how to get your first client, where to get your first client, and what to do next, all for free. So that's adding value in your consideration stage, where you go, this is very helpful for me. This is so valuable that you should charge for it. It should be that valuable. And then the decision-making stage, where you pitch to them. Now that I've come to your attention, I've got your interest, I've helped you solve a problem, and you've been considering this further, can I get you to join us in whatever? As a client, as a customer, to purchase your software, to purchase your product, to join up as a student, whatever your next step is in that machine, in that journey. And so that's the decision-making stage, and the marketing machine knows that, and it builds that into this stage. So now you're not doing this manually. Of course, you can do manual sales, you can do live sales, and that's fine. That's something we talk about in the launch course and within the community and stuff. But this is automated. So you have an automated version of yourself, which meets them where they are, offers them a lead magnet, captures an email, delivers value, serves them, pitches them on your product that matches what it is that they've been considering along this journey, sells to them, closes them as a customer, and now onboards them to give them further value to show, hey, now that you're a customer, I'm not leaving you high and dry. We're on the same team. So you can see how the prospect's journey to buying your thing matches the marketing machine. It mirrors it so that you can see, and it is in the shape of this funnel, because what that means is the more people are going to be aware, less people are going to be interested, even less are going to consider, and even less are going to make a decision to buy. And that's just how it works. If everyone who saw your thing bought your thing, it doesn't work that way. 1 to 10% of the people who become aware of your thing and land on your landing page or whatever it is that you're offering that's ungated and free will ultimately buy your thing. A very small percentage, but you can work with that number. And that's just an expected number, but you can't know that until you build your machine and see how it's working for you. So Monique says they offer value, letting people relive a fun part of their lives. Ah, yes, Factory Boys, exactly. Auntie Thomas, I've never ever written a single blog post. How could I come up with the content for my marketing machine's copy, landing pages, sale pages, and so on? Easy, super easy. If you know your target audience and you know what they struggle with, and you know and you believe that your solution can solve the problem for them, you're already 80% of the way. All you're doing after that is answering questions, is essentially what it is. Now, you would just think, What would somebody in the awareness stage, now that you know the prospect's journey to buying your thing, in this stage, not somebody in this stage, can you imagine somebody who's never heard of you before and you said, hey, my name's Ante and I have a product for sale. It's $1,000. Would you like to buy it? The answer to that is no, all the time. Why? Because they are not in the stage where they don't know who you are. They have no interest. They have no consideration for what you have to offer. You haven't proven anything. And now you're asking them to buy? No, it's not going to work. So what do you do is you go, okay, now that I know that they're in an awareness stage, who are those people and where are they in their mindset? So are they asking, why should I start a business? Or in this case, why should I build a marketing machine and use automation? Can't I just do it the old-fashioned way? You answer that question with your content. How would you, specifically I'm talking to you, Ante, is how would you answer that? If somebody in front of you asked a question to you about what you're offering in your business, how would you meet them where they are and answer a question? So a common question, why do I need a website? Why would I write a book? Why should I get better at one-to-one sales? Whatever your product is, whatever your solution is, why should I hire somebody to mow my lawn when I can do it myself? You're meeting people in the awareness stage and answering questions. So Ante and anyone here, your content is to answer questions and objections and curiosities and problems that answering questions of problems that your target audience has. And if you're not good at writing, there's no excuse because you can talk. You know how to speak. You answer the question. So if you could even go do this as a practice, open your phone, hit the record button on your voice memos and go, question I'm going to be answering right now is, why would I hire a professional web designer versus just using Wix? And if that's part of your business to answer that question, speak it. How would you answer that question to that person? So then you record that memo. Then what you do is you just listen to it and write it out, transcribe it in a way that is structured in like a few paragraphs that can be considered a blog post, a nice formatted, concise answer. You can then also do things like you can hire rev.com. You can get them to just transcribe your voice memos. So if you don't like writing, but you're good at speaking the answer, then you can speak the answer and then have them write it for you, provide you with the blog post. You publish it on your blog. You share it on social. Maybe you're good on video. I like video. I tend to think that I'm comfortable and pretty decent on video, more than writing. I like speaking and communicating like this versus writing. So I can answer questions like this on the fly. Whereas if I'm in my head and I'm trying to, how do I write a great blog post? How do I write an epic blog post? I get stuck. But if I can just go, okay, why, what do I do? Here, Auntie, here's a good, you just created content for me right now by asking, I've never written a blog post. I don't consider myself a writer. How do I come up with good content? Boom. I just answered your question. What I can do is I can review this now after this, and I can go, let's transcribe that segment. I'm going to format that into a good blog post. Maybe I'll even expand that into a 5-part email course, into the 5 steps. How do you write good content when you're not a writer and you don't like writing, but you know that content marketing is a good strategy in your marketing machine selling customers? All you need to do is write it well once. Put it in your marketing machine. It's automatic from there. So, and now, Ante, if you don't like the sound of your voice, nobody likes the sound of their voice when they first start recording. I hated the sound of my voice when I first started hearing it, but I've been doing video stuff, recording, singing, performing music, recording music, and listening to my voice so much that I'm just like, oh, that's Brad's voice. You'll get used to your voice, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you don't like your voice or not. Record your voice, transcribe it, create a blog post out of it, spread it out into a 5-part email course, into a 3-part blog series, into a little mini, free course, whatever it is that you want to do to present it and add your value. And then there's your content. So, and that works for any of it. And that works for your stage 1 awareness copy, answering questions, providing that content. So your target audience, what are their common top level questions, objections, thoughts, curiosities, and problems? Answer those questions. Those are 5 blog posts right now that you can just come up with just like that. By the end of the day, every single one of you, if you know your target audience, can come up with 5 blog posts and have them structured out by the end of the day. Guaranteed. You don't need to go to writing school or any of that. You know how to answer questions. You know how to answer questions, especially if you know your business and you know your target audience. You should be able to answer their questions. If you can't answer their questions, then you're not ready. You don't even know who your audience is. Then you need to go back to square one. What are you doing? Who are you doing it for? How are you solving the problem? Okay. So, you just reverse engineer it versus what's a great content strategy. You just go answer questions, help somebody, help the person who I'm trying to help become my customer. So that's my answer to you, Ante, about content. I hope that was sufficient for you and anyone else who's curious about that. How do I blog when I'm not a blogger? Not asking you to be a blogger. And in fact, you shouldn't just become a blogger. You should use blogging and content marketing as a supporting strategy to grow your business. Not, I'm going to go be a blogger. Alea says, is this a challenge? Everyone on the live have 5 blog posts by August 1st. I'm up for that challenge. Totally. That would be a great thing that we can implement. Let's do a challenge where, we give you 5 days and let's do it. Everyone here who's in the launch course, if you're not in the launch course, cool too. You can email us and let us know. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's say by August 1st, send us an email at support@freelancingfreedom.com. And by August 1st, I want you to come up with 5 blog post ideas. And they could be simply structured. They could be fully formatted and completed and published on your blog if you want. Or they could just be in the email. Send us an email and say, here are my 5 blog posts. Here's my target audience. Here's what they struggle with. Here's how I'm solving it. So get the basics out of the way. Here are the 5 pieces of content that I have written, have structured, or will write. And that's the challenge. By August 1st, everyone here who's watching the live, watching the replay, whether you're in the launch course or you're just, attending office hours live and you're not a student of ours yet, send us an email, support@freelancingfreedom.com on August 1st with your 5 blog posts. Do it. That's the challenge. Monique suggests, find a group that's in your area of interest, look at the questions, answer the question, then write a blog post in it and post it in the group. Exactly. Join forums. Leah says, this is actually becoming content for Brad. Exactly. You're asking questions and you're giving me content ideas and I'm creating content live on the fly. And so, yeah, you can go to groups, you can go to Chamber of Commerce, your local Business Networking International, you can join Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, you can join Reddit threads, you can all over the place, forums. How do I X? Whatever your thing is. If you're trying to start up a fly fishing website, or if you're trying to start up a nanny service, if you're trying to book human resources clients as a consultant and as a freelancer, if you're trying to get web design clients, if you're trying to help people get away from Wix into WordPress, how do I, and look for those questions, and look for forums, look for threads, look for Quora, Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Look at what real people who are your target audience, what they're struggling with, what their problem is, and then create content based on that. You guys, are my target audience. I would hope that I'm doing my job in the awareness stage here and possibly the interest and consideration stage. Office hours kind of covers a few stages here. And also retention, because a lot of you are my customers. So this is me retaining you and saying, hey, I want to serve you for a long time. So you're providing me questions. After this, I'll reflect on it. Alea on my team will be like, hey, these 3 things really stood out. We should address those things. Maybe let's create a series on that. Maybe add that in the course. Maybe add that as an email course. This is you creating content ideas for me on the fly live. So this is great. This is awesome. I'm liking this. So this is the prospect journey to buying your thing. This is why marketing machine is critical. What if you don't have this? How are you addressing each of these stages? How do you know where they are? How do you keep on track of this? Otherwise, all we're doing is saying, hey, I have a business. Will you buy it? The product. Will you hire me? please give me money. You're just jumping the line. You're skipping the line. You met somebody that you liked. They have no idea who you are. And then you ask them to marry you. Can you see how weird that is? The marketing machine is the courting process in a professional manner from someone who you popped into their existence, and then you journey to having a professional relationship that's mutually beneficial where they become a customer and you solve their problems. Okay? How does that sound? Is this making sense? Because this is key. You need to have this in place. And the marketing machine is your automated way of doing all of this. And watch this. Once you build the foundation for your business and prove its viability, what do I mean by that? The minimum viable solution, the minimum viable audience. So you know who your audience is. You know what their problem is. Or you've defined a target audience, okay? This is the foundation. These are the 3 pillars of starting your business. Okay, I want to start a business. What am I passionate about? What's my audience? Okay, let's say my audience is this, okay? Audience A. What do they struggle with? Okay, I think they struggle with this, okay? And then how can I solve it? I'm going to solve it this way. Okay, that's a good theory, but you need to see if it's viable. You need to validate it. So then you go and ask. You go and see, is this going to work? Is that the actual problem that they solve, that they struggle with? And is this solution valuable? Will they buy it? Can I get early buyers, people to pre-order my solution, my service, my course, my product, my book? Can I get people to fund my development of that solution because they want it so bad? Or am I just off base and they don't want that? It's not a real problem. It's not painful enough, or it's the wrong audience altogether, or any combination of the things. The launch course is all about finding those 3 pillars for you, finding the right solution, putting it together so that you go, okay, I have a base, I have a foundation, and my business idea is viable. Okay? Once you have that in place, launch will help you do that. We don't leave you high and dry and say, you need a business idea. Once you have a business idea, come to us. No, it's let's get you on track, okay? So once you do that, establish the foundation, and you design and build your marketing machine to match the customer journey. I showed you right here what the marketing machine is. How you build it, that's in the launch course, friends. I can't do that in a 45-minute session. There's at least 3 or 4 1-hour lessons only on building a few components of that. I just filmed a lesson yesterday that I need to split up into 3 because it's so in depth. It's too much for one lesson. So that's how you do it. We'll teach you in the launch course. Why you do it and why it's important and what it is, I'll show you right here. Unrestricted. What it is and why you need it. How you do it, you got to get into launch, because that's a next level. That's next level value, where if I'm showing you how to do that, then you're building a business. You're getting customers. You're creating momentum. And that's something that in my journey, in my business, it's my mission to serve you in that way. So I would be doing you and myself a disservice if I just gave that away. What I'm giving you is why you need it, what it is, and then how you put it together and all of the little details. I'll make sure that that's taken care of in the launch course. So awesome commentary here. Monique says, launch will help you think in a way that you didn't think was possible. That's really awesome. I really appreciate that. Oshi says, launch is the perfect course in life ever. What an awesome testimonial. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. So you prove its viability. You build your marketing machine to match the customer journey. So, we'll build that in launch. It becomes a numbers game. It's not about pushing the ball uphill anymore. It's not about the hustle or hoping for clients. It's about actual numbers. How do you succeed? How do you anticipate what you're going to earn the next month? Why is it that businesses, large businesses, even small businesses who are doing really well and sustaining themselves for year after year after year, they can have a quarterly meeting with their shareholders or just with their spouse because that's their business partner. And they go, how do we grow our business by 100% by this time next year? How do we double sales in 1 year? How do we triple growth in 5 years? Do we want to triple growth? Do we want to scale back on how much we put into it, but still make more sales and have a little bit more lifestyle freedom? How is it that they can come up with those goals and then begin executing on them? Is it because they just wish and hope for it? My friends, while, having, putting it out there, praying about, doing your work, whatever. Yeah, sure. Yes, of course. If that's your strategy, if that's part of who you are, and you're putting it out there in a way that you go, okay, I hope that this can happen. I'm just going to imagine this as something, bigger than what I ever imagined it to be. Yeah, you got to be able to dream. Yeah, you got to be able to think big. Yeah, you can't, reach the sky if you don't imagine the sky, right? But you also need to do the work. You need to do it. You need to do something about it. So if you're coming up with these goals, they're not just wishful thinking, they're strategic moves. How do we double by this time? Well, we have 3 levers to pull. We've implemented this. So far, the conversion rates are this. We have this in ad spend. If we tweak that, improve this, and then increase the ad spend, and then do these 3 things better, now we can double sales. And then Patrick's parent says manifestation is only one part of the equation. Totally agree. Just to be totally honest, I don't subscribe to, putting it out in the universe, manifestation, the secret. I know some people do. I personally think it's total bogus. But what I do agree is that if you don't visualize what you're trying to do, if you don't have a vision for your life, your business, your relationships, your finances, if you don't have a vision for something, then how are you going to build a mission to achieve it? If your goal and your vision is, I want to be full-time, work for myself, and earn an income that provides for my family and allows me some flexibility to donate to my favorite charity. If you don't have that as your vision, like you envision my business is going to be this, I'm going to be able to achieve this, then you can't create steps to get yourself there. You have nothing to work backwards from. While I don't subscribe to the whole, put it out in the universe manifestation stuff, what I do agree is that you need to have a vision in order to build a mission and then start working towards that vision via the steps in your mission, right? Does this make sense? So it becomes a numbers game. You set a goal. You go, I want to be able to do this. That's what we do in the launch course. We start out with mindset. We start out with getting yourself in the right headspace. Stop telling yourself that you can't do it. Stop telling yourself that you're not good enough. Stop telling yourself that this, that, and the other thing. Stop subscribing to what the culture says that you should be. Go the opposite way, swim upstream and make waves. Okay, that's my motto, make waves. And so I want you to do that by taking yourself out of the expectations of the culture. Unchain yourself from the culture, I like to say. Make waves and go, what do I envision? What was I made for? How do I work myself towards that? So we break through that, okay? Alea says, my favorite quote is, success isn't a result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. Exactly. You got to actually walk into it. You got to move into it. You don't just imagine catching on fire, because that's not going to work. That's just going to make you look like a weirdo. But you do it. You have the ability to start, but you need to break yourself out of the confines of what you or society and the culture has put you in, right? Has enslaved you within, and you need to break out of that. And so when you start setting goals for yourself and your business, then you can start making action and progress toward it. So once you've established foundation, viability, and you build the marketing machine, you do tangible stuff, now you can start setting some goals, because you can start reviewing your numbers. What do I mean by that? Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So it becomes a numbers game. Check this out. Let's say you have 1,000 visitors to your landing page, and you track 1,000 visitors by doing some Google Analytics and you're tracking your stats. So you get 1,000 visitors to your landing page. You have a 20% conversion rate. What is that? 200 leads. The conversion rate meaning 20% of people will opt into your lead magnet, into your free email course or whatever your educational offer is. So you have 200 email addresses now giving you permission to market. That's called permission marketing. Seth Godin calls it permission marketing. From there, 1 to 5%. Now, I'm not going to go in depth about why these numbers are these numbers here in this session because we're almost done here. But that's in the launch course. I talk about why these numbers are these numbers, what you can expect, how to get these numbers, if it's realistic, what you can do to make them better. We get into that into the launch course. 2% purchase rate. Let's just assume that number for now, based on actual statistics. 4 clients, 1,000 visitors. At a 20% conversion rate, 2% of your leads convert, 4 clients. If that's a $500 offer, that's $2,000 in revenue. Do that every month. That's $2,000 in revenue every single month. That's 4 new clients every single month. And that's just trying to get new clients. That's not trying to retain clients, adding them to a retainer, selling a high ticket offering, improving your situation, increasing things. This is just kind of a base model. Yes, you need to work to get that. No, it's not easy, but if you never will achieve it if you don't actually put it in place and start trying. Is it possible? Yes, I do it every single day. And I'm not the only one. It's not luck. It's not any of that stuff. It's just a business strategy, and you just need to know and be aware of the business strategy and then understand how to make it work for you and your audience. So imagine that. Imagine if you just knew based on your numbers that you can expect $2,000 a month. How does that look for you? How does that make you feel? Does that seem like that would be game changing for me? That would be life changing for me. If I could implement something that could be sustainable and predictable, and I knew roughly based on my numbers that I can expect a certain amount of revenue per month, how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel like I can do this? When it's distilled and all of the fluff is taken away and I show you at its core, it's a numbers game. After you've done the work to establish yourself, prove your viability, find your market, find the problem, deliver and create a solution, and it's a numbers game, how does that make you feel? Alea looks pretty happy about it. Monique says top of the world. Check this out. Now you can play with your numbers. So if I'm saying, okay, let's use a benchmark 1,000 visitors per month, okay? Not a crazy number to expect on content, on a landing page, on, video views or something like that. You have to work to get that. There's ways to get there. We talk about that in the launch course. It's out of the scope of this session. But you can play with your numbers. And now we can pull 3 levers. So what are those levers or levers? Lever number 1 is to increase traffic. What if we increase traffic by 50%? Strategies to increase the traffic out of the scope of this session. It's in the launch course. Okay. Now we have 1,500 visitors. We know our conversion rate's about 20%. So now we have 300 leads. Convert 2% of those rather, 6 clients. Okay. All by just tweaking the traffic, by pulling that traffic lever and going, boom, I need a little bit more traffic. I already know my conversion rates. If I just increase traffic a little bit, then I know what to expect in terms of revenue. What if we pull lever number 2 and increase conversion rates by 100%? Increasing in conversion rate by 100%, it's not that crazy. Depending on what you offer, who your audience is, we go into that into the launch course. 40% conversion rate of 1,000 visitors. Now we have 400 leads. Convert that at 2%. What's that? 8 clients. What did we just do? We just boosted our conversion rate on the same traffic that we get anyway. And now we have an expected 8 clients based on the numbers that we already know because we're tracking it. It's a numbers game. Increase the purchase rate. Okay, 1,000 visitors still, 20% conversion rate at a 3% conversion rate. So we boosted that by 150%. So 1.5 of 2 is 3. So now we have a 3% purchase rate. Now we have 6 clients. Watch this. What if we pull all 3? Increase traffic, increase conversion, increase purchase rate. Look at this number. 1,500 visitors converting at 40% and purchasing at 3% of a $500 offer. Let's say, for example, 500 times 18. You do the math. You'll need a scalable way to deliver that service, which is something that we talk about in the launch course, my friends. But it's a numbers game. It's not hoping, luck, manifestation, or any of that. It's just doing strategy in business. This is not news to people who are successful in business. They know these numbers. So let's use the $500 low ticket offer. Let's say the product is a $500 offer. It's a quick service. It's a productized service. It's a complete product altogether. Let's just use the low ticket offering. So 1,000 visitors, 200 leads, 4 clients. There's our $2,000 revenue. Incredible. Let's use a $2,000 high ticket offering, but change the funnel within the marketing machine to a webinar. So this could be a live webinar. This could be an evergreen webinar, like a workshop. It could be like a boot camp. It could be an in-person workshop. It could be an in-person, you rent out a space at the university, at a co-working space, at a colleague. They have an office space. You rent that out from them, or they give it to you for free for an evening, a week or a month, and you put out an ad to your local community in a local paper, church bulletin, magazines, radio, TV, number of ways to get traffic and eyeballs on that workshop. They come to your session where you teach them incredible high value, how to do X, Y, and Z, why you need to do X, Y, and Z, and why it's important to implement that. And then how do you solve that problem and get yourself from A to Z? Hire my agency, hire my business, buy my product, become a customer, register for my software. Do you see where I'm going with this? So we're going to use a $2,000 high ticket offering. High ticket offering, we go into the verbiage and the terminology in the launch course. What's a low ticket? What's a high ticket? In this case, let's just say for the case of the example, $2,000 high ticket offering is, like a more one-to-one service. You're building a custom WordPress website. Maybe it's a high ticket training / boot camp where there's a lot of hand holding, and then there's like a course level element. Use your imagination here. We go into what those things are in the launch course. Again, outside of the scope of this session, I just want to show you why and what. So check this out. 1,000 visitors at a 35% registration rate. These are numbers that people see in webinars all the time. Whether it's a live webinar, evergreen webinar. I've had registration rates as high as 60% in a live webinar. In my evergreen webinars, which are more on demand, so you can join whenever you want, they're more like 35%. They're a little bit lower pressure because you can join kind of at essentially any time at my specified dates and times. Whereas if I said there's only one live webinar and it's coming up in 2 weeks, then you don't want to miss it. So that registration rate is going to be incredibly high. So 35%, this is a modest number if you're doing the right things. And then at a 2% purchase rate, webinars can convert as low as 0 if you're just not doing a good job to as high as 10 or 15%. I'm using a really modest 2% here. 7 clients at $2,000. You're going to convert less to purchases at a high ticket offering because it's a smaller pool of people who are going to buy a high ticket offering. But look at this, 7 clients at $2,000, that's 14 grand. So if you are consistently getting these numbers, and you can look at your numbers, maybe your numbers are higher, maybe they're lower, maybe your traffic is only 200 visitors, maybe your traffic is 10,000 visitors, maybe your email list is bigger and you can funnel that in to your offer more regularly. Again, you can only know your numbers by building your machine and tracking it. That's something that we talk about in the launch course and we'll be helping you build. Okay, so that's a life-changing number for everybody here. And if you can consistently build something that you can expect, that you don't go work at a job and get those sorts of numbers. You don't get to control that aspect. Somebody who has a good business and is hiring you to work for their business, they know their numbers. That's why they can pay you a $30,000 to $60,000 or whatever $1,000 salary, because they know their numbers. If you know your numbers and you know your system and you've built your system and you can put that in place and understand it, then you can start harnessing that. Okay? So again, I'm going to give you one little teaser here. Once you know your numbers, you can pay to play. So how do you get your visitors? Lots of different ways. Not going to go into that in the next couple minutes, but advertising. What if you paid for advertising and you increased your visitor count up to 2,500 visitors? You know your math and you know what it's going to cost you. If you can earn more money than your advertising spend, then that's something you could perpetually keep feeding. And you can have a paid ad strategy that consistently gets you traffic that you can go This gets me 5,000 visitors per month, 2,000 visitors per month. It converts. This gets me regularly 3 new customers every single month, and my profit is X. How can I tweak these numbers to increase my profit margin? Meanwhile, over here, I have a word of mouth referral engine that is going viral, something we talk about in the launch course as well. And right here, I have a direct sales strategy and other content marketing strategies and other things in place. My marketing machine takes care of all of it. And I just get to be me with maybe a team member, maybe another staff member, maybe just you and your wife or your husband or just yourself. And you have this machine that is building a business as if you were a really 10-strong corporation. So, my friends, that is the marketing machine. And you can see why that's important. You can see what it is, why it's important. How do you build this? How do you get traffic? How do you build a landing page? What's a lead magnet? What kind of lead magnets? Email sequences. What kind of emails do I send? How do I schedule them? What software do I use? What's the psychology behind it? How do you personalize it? How do you onboard your client successfully? What sort of service should I be delivering? How do you manage your project successfully? How do you retain customers? How do you take people who didn't become customers and then convert them into customers later down the journey when they are now in the consideration and decision-making stage? How do I build that in? How do I put that in place? That's the launch course. That's the launch course. And if you want to know how to do that, if you want to get yourself in the mindset, if you want to know what sort of business idea you should be going with, if you want to know if it's profitable, if you want to know your audience, if you want to know what their problem is, how to solve it, and then if you want to go from there and start learning the ins and outs of actually building a real business, not a lifestyle, whatever, social media, Insta famous influencer nonsense, not that, not a network marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever, that doesn't make you any money ever and you lose all your friends in the process. A real business for real people that solves a real problem with your real solutions, and a business that gives you independence, where you get to have more flexibility and choice within your life. Life's unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what our tomorrow looks like. We don't really get control of that aspect, but there are parts that we do get control over. The parts that we do have control over are who we work for, how we earn a living, how we feed our children, how we spend our leisurely time, who we give our money to, who we impact, who we help. Those things we actually have control over. And I want to enable you and empower you to be able to get back that control that you were blessed with the option to be able to do. But so many people don't get that freedom and flexibility and independence because they are tied to somebody else's business. They are an employee. They are working at a job they don't like, or they're working at a job where they don't see much growth, or something is telling them, I can do more than this. I'm bigger than this. I have more to offer, and I can't release that spirit, that passion in the confines of what I'm doing right now. I don't get to see my wife as much. I don't get to see my kids as much. I don't get to make the impact that I always wished and dreamed that I could. How do you do that? Well, in my opinion, from my humble opinion and my experience through my own journey and through hundreds of people who are joining us in Freelancing Freedom and in my content, to my courses, to everything that I get to create, I see that when you give somebody the power to be able to become independent, to be able to be free, and to be able to start working on the thing that they were made to create, something changes. When you get to see that other side, you can't go back. Once you start swimming upstream and you make waves, why do you don't want to turn around anymore and go back downstream with the crowd. You don't want to do that anymore. So when you decide to make a change and somebody gives you the tools to be able to say, hey, I know where you're at, and I know that you don't think you can do this, but I'm here to show you that you can do this. It's going to be hard. You might fail a lot. But if you can stick it out and make the right choices and do calculated moves in safe ways, you can get yourself to a place where you'll be able to say, I just booked a client. I can do this. And now you're a little bit more powerful. You're a little stronger. And then you say, well, if I could book one client, I could book two. And then I go, yeah, you can book two, but if you could book 2 clients, you could book 20 clients. But you're not going to be able to do that if you're working full time. I don't want you quitting your job yet. I don't want that on my back, on my conscience. I want you to make smart moves. So how do you go from 2 clients to 5 clients? How do you serve and grow your business in a manner that's safe and outside of what's providing for your family right now, to the point where you can start making a smooth and graceful exit strategy from where you are to where you want to be, and implement things like a marketing machine, understanding your audience, meeting them in the awareness, consideration, and awareness, interest, decision, consideration and decision stages. How do you implement that? How do you create a business that's based on numbers where you can go, I make this much in revenue per month, and if I implement this strategy, incorporate that, and pull this lever, I can see a 25% increase within the next 3 months. That sounds nice. We've got a big mortgage payment coming up, or I'd like to buy a house one day, or I'd like to start investing in the stock market, or I'd like to pay off debt, or I'd like to move to the small town that I've always wanted to move to because I don't need to be in this big, busy, smelly city anymore. You start to have freedom of choice within the confines of what you have the freedom to do anyway. Life's unpredictable. We don't know what tomorrow is going to be. But what you can do, what you should have control over, is how you spend your today, who you spend it with, how you spend your money, where it goes, who provides for your family. Are you providing for your family, or is your boss providing for your family? Nothing against bosses. They're growing. They got a good business going, but they're taking a risk. I want you to be able to do the same thing in the right way. So my friends, that is what the launch course is. That's what freelancing freedom is. And that's what making waves is all about. So I'm inviting you not to outright join launch right now. If you're ready, if you're in that decision stage where you go, no, I'm ready. I'm ready, Brad. And you just tip the scales for me. I'm in. Then I will welcome you with open arms. I'll send you a personal video today saying, hey, welcome aboard. I've got your back. Let us know if you need anything. But if you want to take a next step with me and you are now, okay, I'm interested, Brad. What next? I'm being transparent here, how this whole thing works. But I hope you can see that I'm legitimately trying to serve you. My invitation to you is to go to freelancingfreedom.com/launch. Now, what that is going to get you, you're going to be on a landing page where you can get a free demo of the launch course. See what it's all about. What are the modules? What are the lessons? What do you get? What's the community? What's the content? Is it really for me, or is it for a different type of person? Is that what I want to do? So you get a free demo. It's a big walkthrough of the entire course with no pressure. You get the revenue roadmap, which is going to help you structure your business offerings. It's going to help you understand what sort of revenue you could be looking forward to if you put the right things in place. It's a nice, fun, interactive tool where you can kind of create some products and services on the fly and go, here's how I'd structure my business once it starts getting up and running. And that's yours for free. And then the consultant pricing calculator. If you don't know what you should be charging, well, within 20 minutes, you'll know exactly what you should be charging and why. And that's yours for free as well. I'm going to offer that to you for free. You can go to freelancingfreedom.com/launch or bradhussey.ca/launch, whichever one you remember off the top of your head. It's in the link to the description right below. Okay. And I'm inviting you to do that right now. And in that free demo, you'll be in my email. I have permission to contact you now because you opted in. I'm going to send you a few emails, let you know about launch. I'm going to give you an opportunity to join launch. You can join if you wish. If you're not ready, I'll let you know later. There's also a webinar. That link will get you access to the webinar. And that webinar is a 2-hour training. If this wasn't enough for you, it's going to go more in depth in a condensed, high impact 2-hour training session that's yours for free. The replay's there, and you get the free workbook of the session as well. So a lot of value. I'm giving you a lot to make the right decision for you. Aurelian asks, is there a way to pay with different means than PayPal and credit? Can you add some credit cards that are common in Europe? I wanted to buy, but I was stuck on getting through the payment. Can I send you direct payment to your bank account once you get the money? You could give me the access. Aurelian, great question. You know what? Most people, to be totally honest, most people who paid, actually all people who pay have PayPal or credit card. That said, I am not against arranging something that is more accessible to you. We need to maybe go back and forth. Maybe Alea, can you communicate with Aurelian? All you have to do, Aurelian, I hope I got your name right, is support@freelancingfreedom.com. Alea is going to get back to you, and we'll just have a little discussion as to maybe what's the best and reasonable way to make that happen for you. So yeah, I'd like to be able to help you out. And if you're in a situation where you can't use a credit card, if you can't pay for it, you can't afford the course, and this goes for anyone, I don't want you joining. I'm not going to put you in any sort of situation financially that's going to be a problem. But if you can afford to join up, but you're in a situation where you can't use the payment methods that we offer, then we can try and work something out. So send us an email, support@freelancingfreedom.com. Anyone else who is interested in joining up in launch, freelancingfreedom.com/launch. You can make a decision there. After you get a demo, you get your gifts, you can check out the webinar, and we're there to help you through your journey. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your time and everything that you've put together. I appreciate you being here with me today. So thank you so much. God bless you. I hope this was valuable, and we'll be in touch, and I'll catch you next week. All right. Cheers.